So this week we started looking at modes, which might be a welcome relief to some, because we've looked at pentatonic scales quite a lot. And pentatonic scales are generally associated with blues music and rock music, but that's it wouldn't be fair to say that that's the only genres that those scales are played in. They're played in a variety of settings and different musical styles. But admittedly, after a while, they can start, I guess, sounding a little bit limited, these sort of 2-note per string scales. So if you're wanting to explore something different, the place to go would be to start looking at modes. Now a mode is basically a different way of saying scale, I guess. And there's lots of things online that you can read about modal theory. And I'd be happy to talk through it with you if you were particularly interested in it. But modes are a set of scales, and each of them come with its own unique stamp or its own unique sound. So they're very rich, characterful sounding scales, and used in different settings. So commonly we would sort of associate the Mixolydian scale with blues music. It sounds really good over blues. The Phrygian sounds good with sort of like Latin sounding music or Spanish sounding music. And the reason for that is because each scale is made up of a certain formula, a certain makeup, which then certain genres just kind of take and then use, and then we associate that sound with certain scales. In week 7 we looked at the Ionian, Aeolian and the Phrygian. Now the Ionian is a major scale, the scale that we associate with Do, Re, Mi, Fa, La, Si, Ta, Do. I think that's right. And then the Aeolian scale as well, which is just a minor scale. And it's from those two scales that the most, like the pentatonic is like a stripped down Aeolian, I guess. Same with the Ionian. That's kind of like, if you look at that as like the mother scale from which in Western music most of the scales come from. We also looked at the Phrygian, which is the sort of Latin, Spanish sounding scale, and it can sound quite cool. There's a couple of things that you can do to play through these and get used to them. Obviously use backing tracks, even better use another musician and just put together some chord progressions and then jam along on top. But these scales are a little bit more difficult to remember because there's more going on per string. So what I wanted to show you was quite an effective technique for remembering scales, and this is where we're playing triplets, and after we've played, my amplifier blowing up, stop it, after we've played 3 notes, 1, 2, 3, we then go back 1 note and then start again from there and then count 1, 2, 3. Let me show you how this works. I'm going to have to sort of move up a bit closer here. So we go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. I'll show you just that on one string again, but we'll do it in slow this time. So 1, 2, 3. And then we would go, and you can do this on any scale, by the way. Works well with scales with 3 notes per string. So let's do that again. 1, 2, 3, and then back. And now this is 1. 1, 2, 3, and then back. So this is 1 now. 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So every third note we're going back 1. There's also other cool things that you can do to learn scales. So you can learn a scale in thirds, so that's where you're playing 1 note and then jumping up 3 notes. You can learn it in fifths, so you play 1 note and then jump up 5 notes, which is also really good for training your ear, for learning more about intervals. But that is for a separate time, I think. So for now, just have a look at those scales. Definitely try that technique. You should find it quite useful, and get to jamming with them. They are interesting, and yeah, enjoy those, and hopefully it'll bring a little bit more variety to your playing than staying in the pentatonics. Although pentatonics are really cool, but yeah, these for variety.